All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you all are having a good morning so far. Player I've been meaning to cover, but haven't yet. There's so many of them. Every time I think I've done it, there's so many more. Reggie freaking Miller time. This one is by The Score, and this one's called Miller Time, the story behind Reggie Miller. And I don't expect this will be the only Reggie Miller video that I react to, because Reggie is one of my all-time, probably top 5 shooting guards of all time for me personally. I'm not gonna sit here and make a debate like he's top 5 all time, you know. However, for me personally, I absolutely loved watching Reggie Miller play. I was sad when I saw him go. I really wanted him to win a championship in his final years, and it just never happened. And I think he would have done it in, what was it, 98, if it wasn't for Jordan. But I'm sorry, Reggie. I was rooting for MJ that series. But he took him to 7 games. It's a hell of a series. Anyways, as usual, everybody, I'm going to leave the original video by The Score down below in the description if you want to watch it without my commentary and just check out some Reggie Miller stuff. Everybody who's coming with me to watch this together, please leave this video a like. I love Reggie, but I know he's not that popular, so this video might get like maybe 50 views. So hitting that like button will help out a lot. Anyways, everyone, let's do this.
The Indiana Pacers select Reggie Miller of UCLA.
When was he drafted? 86?
What you have to do, I think would be great, is just have the kind of intensity that your sister has. That your sister has. That your sister has.
Yeah.
That your sister has.
She'll always be the best Miller in the family. Seeing like the push off like this, like, I love this kind of basketball. Watch his twin. Boom.
Gets it in the middle for the win.
And these two had nothing but love for each other and respect. On the court, it looked like they were going to absolute war against each other. You know, as much war as you can get for sports, that is. It's a battle out there. Those two would battle like crazy, but you check them out after the game, nothing but respect. Respecting the battle. I love that about those two guys.
He perfected and wielded one of the most iconic jump shots in basketball history.
Here's Reggie, here's the turnaround, here's the shot.
Bang! Yeah, no one was shooting fadeaway threes back then. Look at
Long
him.
before the modern three-point revolution, he struck fear into the hearts of opponents who had to chase him around the perimeter. He was a bad man on the court, and he knew it.
Yeah, I'm just going to preface this for anybody who don't know. Before there was Steph Curry, there was Ray Allen. Before there was Ray Allen, there was Reggie freaking Miller. He started this running through back screens, just running all over the place. Like, you'd be exhausted just guarding him, and especially if he doesn't have the ball. You get to take a little break if he's got the ball. But off the ball, this guy's cardio was...
But walk unassisted he did. And
it's like the story of Forrest Gump for anybody who's seen it. To go from that to being... because Forrest became an athlete, you know? Same kind of story. Who would have thought?
Before long, young Reggie was running around California baseball fields and basketball courts, proving himself an athletic force in his own right. As a little leaguer, Miller showed promise both at the plate and on the mound. But after enrolling at the same high school where Cheryl was already making a name for herself, Reggie made the switch to basketball. Though he got a late start on the court, years of being bullied by Cheryl in now famous one-on-one games had prepared him well, with Reggie admitting his unorthodox shooting mechanics were forged by trying to get his jumper up over his big sister. You never had to go out there, and good old family genes led to a stellar high school career.
That high release that he has makes perfect sense now. He grew up with his big sister blocking the hell out of him. So that was the only way for him to get it off. Like, he had to be a high release, and he had to fade back to create space. I don't know why I never thought about that.
But it was hard to escape Cheryl's shadow.
He said I had 40. And oh my gosh, Reggie, that's awesome.
Hey, by the way, how did you do tonight?
I said, well, I had a big game. He goes, what, 60?
Cheryl kind of looks at my dad. Dad kind of looks at Cheryl. She's like, oh, She had 105. I'm like, huh?
Reggie may not have put up
105.
Wilt-like numbers in high school, but he did enough to land at UCLA. As a Bruin, Miller ensured he would no longer be just Cheryl Miller's little brother. By his sophomore season, Reggie was averaging over 15 points per game on 55% shooting for the NIT champion.
55%.
He was also named MVP of the 1985 NIT tournament. As a junior, Miller exploded, becoming a 25-point scorer and an All-American. However, it was when the NCAA adopted the three-point line in 1986-87 that Miller, by then a senior, showed off the skill set that would propel him to NBA starter. In his final collegiate season, Miller averaged 22.3 points, 5.4 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and 2 steals, while shooting nearly 60% inside the arc.
This is shocking. 44% three-point shooting. Fantastic.
And 44% from deep on 4.9 three-point attempts per game. Though UCLA was upset by Wyoming in the second round of the NCAA tournament, Miller had done more than enough to assure his NBA future, finishing as the Bruins' #2 scorer all time, behind only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Wow.
That didn't mean much to folks in Indianapolis, though, with fans at the Pacers' 1987 draft party booing the selection of Miller at number 11. Their reasoning? Pacers fans wanted the team to select Indiana product Steve Alford, who went 26th overall and would go on to average 4.4 points per game over a 4-year NBA career. Expectations weren't exactly sky high for Miller either, as the lanky shooting guard was joining a 500 team that had yet to enjoy any measure of success since moving from the ABA to the NBA as part of the 1976 merger. Team success would remain slow to come by even after Miller's arrival, but the new kid in town provided a glimpse of better days to come. Coming off the bench as a rookie, Miller averaged 10 points per game and broke Larry Bird's rookie record for threes in a season. As a sophomore starter, he averaged...
Wait, did I hear that right?
Coming off the bench as a rookie, Miller averaged 10 points per game and broke Larry Bird's rookie record for threes in a season.
Wow. Okay. Off the bench, he broke Larry Bird's record for threes in a season.
As a sophomore starter,
rookie season.
He averaged 16 points and shot better than 40% from deep for the first of 10 times in his career.
Nice.
It was in his third season that Miller and the Pacers took off, though. After going 66 and 98 over Miller's first 2 seasons, Indiana won 42 games in 1989-90.
Okay, so he was drafted in 87? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what it's telling me. I thought it was 86, but it looks like 87. All right. So they were a 500 team. They actually got worse when Reggie got drafted, and they got way worse, but then they got way better. Okay, by his third season. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
90. Posting the franchise's first winning season in 9 years.
Damn.
Miller's star turn was a big reason why, as the 24-year-old averaged 24.6 points on 51, 41, 87 shooting. That performance earned Miller his first of 5 All-Star selections and a runner-up finish in Most Improved Player vote.
Wow, I have this basketball card, like the All-Star card. I think it was Hoops or Fleer. I can't remember. Look at that team. Robert Parrish. You're so out of place here, but you were still a big dog. McHale, that's awesome. Joe D. Yeah, Reggie, man. Reggie. That's cool that Dennis Rodman got in there, too, right next to his Piston teammate.
Midway through that 1989-90 campaign, he outdueled Michael Jordan as part of a 44-point performance that served notice to the rest of the association. Miller and his Pacers were for real.
He encored his career night of 38 with another career high of 43 and counting. It's not bad. Been a while since anybody dropped that big a load on the Bulls. 44 points for Reggie Miller.
Yeah, and the Bulls defense,
this
not bad.
ABA franchise was on the NBA map. Miller was Indiana's first All-Star in 13 years. His constant motion and off-ball work as mesmerizing for Pacers fans as it was exhausting for opposing defenders. Not even a first-round sweep at the hands of the defending champion Pistons could quell the excitement. But as every NBA fan knows by now, such early excitement is often met by years of postseason heartbreak and disappointment.
Yeah.
Over the next 3 seasons, Miller averaged nearly 22 points on 50, 38, 89 shooting without missing a single game for Pacers.
Okay, his three-point shooting significantly dropped, though, so he was probably starting to get double coverage by this point. 1990, yeah, we knew he was the real deal by 90, for sure.
Teams that won a middling 40 to 41 games every year. During the 92-93 campaign, Miller set Indiana's single-game scoring record, which still stands more than 30 years later.
He's the guy that's seeking to be the go-to guy for these Hornets.
Reggie Miller with another three-pointer. Reggie finished up. The official numbers have arrived. 57 points on 16 of 29 from the floor, 4 of 11 three-point land, 21 of 23 free throws, 5 rebounds.
16 of 29? So yeah, above 50%. I don't remember him scoring 57. I'm not surprised though.
8 assists and a steal.
Though Miller was often electric in the postseason, averaging 27 and 31.5 points per game in the 1992 and 1993 playoffs respectively, Indiana compiled a 3-12 record over Reggie's first 4 trips to the playoffs. Something had to give. Ahead of the 1993-94 season, the Pacers hired Larry Brown as their new head coach, then traded all-star forward Detlef Schrempf for the defensive-minded Derek McKee. They also signed Haywood Workman to serve as the team's new starting point guard. The roster shakeup and high-profile coaching change proved just the jolt the Pacers needed.
That's sad, because I like Detlef Schrempf, but I guess, yeah, this was a better fit. All right, so where's he at now? So his scoring went down. Shooting percentage is fantastic. A couple of assists, 42% threes. Very, very good.
Miller's scoring dipped below 20 points per game for the first time in 5 years, but his efficiency soared as the star guard became just the 3rd player in history after Bird and Mark Price to join the vaunted 50-40-90 club. Miller was the only player to accomplish the feat during the 90s. The Pacers' 47 wins marked the team's best showing in 21 years. In sweeping the 4th-seeded Magic in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals, Miller helped the Pacers to the franchise's first NBA playoff series victory. It was during that 94 postseason Miller officially became a superstar and a household name, thanks in large part to an A-list movie director. After upsetting the top-seeded Hawks in the second round.
Okay, real quick. You know how Jordan used to light up the Madison Square Garden, the Knicks, every single time? That was like his routine. Even coming out of retirement, his like 3rd or 4th game in, put up a double nickel with no legs. He was like barely jumping, but he still put up 55 points against them. Reggie Miller fell right in line with this. Now it's like it's become a celebrated thing where the best basketball players typically light up in Madison Square Garden. But as far as I'm concerned, and correct me down below, it started with Jordan, and then Reggie Miller took it to a whole nother level as well. But other than those two dudes, I don't think it was a thing back then that you go into Madison Square Garden, you get booed, and then you light them up, and then they cheer you by the end.
Pacers drew the battle-tested Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final, the team that had eliminated them a year earlier. During an unforgettable Game 5 performance, which saw Miller score 25 of his 39 points in the 4th quarter, Indiana's franchise player famously jawed at Spike Lee, who was sitting in his customary courtside seats at Madison Square Garden.
Miller open again. His foot on the line. That's a
do the choke.
And Reggie Miller in an animated discussion with Spike Lee.
After rallying his Pacers back from 12 down in the final frame, Miller provided Lee and the Knicks with an enduring image that still lives in NBA infamy. Decades
there
before
it is. There it is. Hey, you know, there's the certain guys you don't want to mess with. Reggie was one of those cats. Don't piss him off, man. Let him stay dormant, or else this happens.
Time entered the NBA lexicon. That Game 5 performance birthed the notion of Miller time. It also sparked a bitter, years-long rivalry between Miller's Pacers and Lee's beloved Knicks. New York got the last laugh by winning Games 6 and 7 en route to the NBA Finals. But if Lee and company thought they had taken Miller's best punch in the spring of '94, they were sorely mistaken. Miller returned to the All-Star game and earned his first All-NBA
Yeah, that's in Arizona. The little cactus.
Selection in 1994-95, leading the Pacers to their first 50-win season as an NBA club before sweeping Atlanta in the first round. To get back to the East Final, Indiana would have to slay New York in the second round. Late in Game 1, it wasn't looking great, as the Knicks held a 6-point lead with less than 19 seconds remaining. What ensued over those final 18.7 seconds has become part of playoff lore.
Oh, this is great.
As Miller scored 8 points in a 9-second flurry that propelled the Pacers to victory.
The only thing I could compare against this was T-Max thing he did when he was at the Rockets. I can't even remember how many points that was. Was it 8 points? And like, I don't know. I can't even remember. I got to go back and look it up. I don't want to misspeak or else you guys are going to kill me in the comments. But within about like 30, 40 seconds, he put up like 8 points. But Reggie, this is sick. This is so fast. 18.7 seconds on the clock. In the playoffs.
Actually, that is short of the record for both teams in the playoff game.
Bang.
Miller for 3.
All right. That's 2 seconds off the clock. Oh. Give me that ball. Back up. Yep. By the way, does this stepping back to the three-point line thing ring a bell? Ray Allen, anybody? Remember the Heat finals where LeBron put up that brick, Bosch got the rebound, and then dished it off to Ray Allen where he backpedaled into the three-point line? Watch this. Guy goes down. Bang. Boom. One dribble.
A make is okay for the Pacers.
Oh. Bang.
Miller hits 2.
A couple weeks later, the Pacers would survive a Game 7 epic at MSG to finally beat the Knicks and punch their ticket back to the East Final. Unfortunately, after averaging 28 points over the first 6 games of a memorable series against Shaq and Penny's Magic, Miller was held to 12 points on 5 of 13 shooting in a blowout Game 7 loss.
Okay, a little bit of context too. So this Knicks team, wait, there it is. This Knicks team went to the NBA Finals. The only reason they didn't win a championship was because they met up with the Hakeem Olajuwon's Houston Rockets, and Michael Jordan was retired at this time. So the Bulls would have been in one of these spots. And I hate to say it, Reggie, but it probably would have been the Bulls versus the Knicks, okay? But so, in other words, losing or losing to the Knicks is not a sad case, but winning to the Knicks and then now the very next year, they lose to the Orlando Magic, and the Orlando Magic go to the NBA Finals. And once again, the same thing happens. They were waiting for the big dog. Jordan did come out of retirement this year, but that was when he played like 16 or 18 games, fresh out of retirement with a baseball body, had no legs. So Orlando did beat them, and then the Bulls swept them the next year and won the championship. But them losing, in other words, what I'm saying is they did not lose to chumps. They were every single year. Reggie Miller was right there on the cusp of winning a championship. And I'm sad to say he did it for so many years. The guy really deserved a ring.
28 points over the first 6 games of a memorable series against Shaq and Penny's Magic, Miller was held to 12 points on 5 of 13 shooting in a blowout Game 7 loss. It would take a while for a devastated Miller to get another crack at a title run.
98.
Though he did get to taste gold medal glory with Team USA at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. A late-season eye injury sidelined Miller to start the 96 playoffs, which saw the 3rd-seeded Pacers fall to the 6th-seeded Hawks in the first round. Injuries to McKee, Workman, and starting center Rick Smits then knocked the Pacers right out of the playoff picture in 1996-97. However, the next great Pacers team of the Miller era took shape during that disappointing year, as Indiana acquired guards Mark Jackson and Jalen Rose, while big man Antonio Davis continued to develop. Larry Bird also replaced Brown in the offseason. It all coalesced the following year, when the 97-98 Pacers ripped off 58 wins. Miller received down-ballot MVP votes for the first time in his career, then led Indiana past Cleveland and New York in the playoffs, advancing to the conference finals for the 3rd time in 5 years. Their opponent this time would be their toughest yet, Michael Jordan's defending champion Bulls, who were looking for a 6th championship in 8 years.
They gave the Bulls such a run for their money. It went to 7 games, which is very rare for the championship era Bulls. But it was a real series. The only other teams to compete against the Bulls like this was the Knicks, and then early days was the Pistons, obviously. But post-championship Bulls, it was really just the Knicks and then the Pacers. You could say Miami, but it wasn't quite this contested. Reggie Miller and the Larry Bird coached. Larry Bird was coaching this year. That was the best Pacers team. They really, I want to say they would have won a championship, but god damn, that Utah Jazz team in '98 was so good. I don't think anybody could have beaten them other than MJ. I don't think it's possible. That team was so good. But they would have got to the finals.
Their last dance together. Though the Pacers ultimately came up short, Miller's squad pushed Chicago to the absolute limit in ways few teams ever could. Seemingly unwilling to go a single postseason without a career-defining moment, Miller added another one in that '98 epic against Jordan's Bulls.
Oh yeah, the shove.
McKee gets it in the middle for the win.
Okay, just because I cover modern basketball, I want to throw this in here real quick. Okay, you all saw what just happened, right? I'm gonna play it back real quick.
Added another one in that '98
watch Jordan
epic
and watch
watch
Jordan and watch Miller. Jordan's gonna pick up Miller on the switch. Okay, watch what happens. Two-hand shove.
McKee gets it in the
Bang, he got it. Okay, now I just want you to think about what would happen nowadays, because first of all, MJ would have, if this was like modern ball, MJ would have flopped, right?
Jordan's Bulls.
So okay, MJ from here would have ended up here. If this was some modern basketball players, y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm trying not to say the name, but it's something like this. Yeah, MJ would have ended up here. What's MJ do? Nothing. He recovers after 2 or 3 steps. That's what happens when you get shoved. All right. Now watch Jordan's reaction after this awesome shot goes in, because Reggie, man, did Reggie earn this shot or what? All right, bang, he missed it. He just goes, damn. You know, he smacks his hands together like, damn. He's not even thinking about the foul. He's not even thinking about it. He's thinking, damn, he got me. No complaining, no nothing. Now that's good basketball. That's awesome.
One of the greatest clutch playoff performers of his generation has apparently done.
Look, he's disappointed in himself. What a shot by Reg.
A blown fourth quarter lead in Game 7 had to be agonizing for a star who had just about everything except a championship ring by that point. Unfortunately, close but no cigar would come to define Miller's postseason career.
Yeah.
There was another East final loss in the lockout-shortened 1999 season, where the second-seeded Pacers fell to the arch-rival Knicks despite an 8-seeded New York squad losing Patrick Ewing in the series. In the Knicks' Game 6 clincher, Lee and the Garden faithful had a field day with Miller, who scored a measly 8 points on 3 of 18 shooting. Still, year in, year out, Miller and the Pacers kept plugging away, and their efforts were finally rewarded with a trip to the finals in 2000. Though his regular season numbers had started to slip in what would prove to be his last year as an All-Star, a 34-year-old Miller averaged 24 points per game during a 2000 playoff run that saw top-seeded Indiana outlast Ray Allen's Bucks, Allen Iverson's 76ers, and yes, the Knicks again.
I think he can probably do it tonight if he wants, as Reggie Miller's point total continues. He started with 5 points in the first, got 4 in the second, 8 in the third, and then it was Miller time. 17 in the fourth quarter, 34 in the game.
Congratulations to the Indiana Pacers. Well,
that's Bill Walton speaking right there. Rest in peace, brother. Yeah, it's one thing I love about Reggie, though, is because he's a closer. So even if he has 3 bad quarters, in the fourth quarter, he is stepping up. I have a lot more respect for that than people who play 3 solid quarters and then disappear when it counts the most. Reggie Miller, you can bet your damn ass. In the fourth quarter, he is showing up to play.
Well deserved. The best team all year. They proved it during the regular season and during the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
Though they fell in 6 games to Shaq and Kobe's Lakers in the finals, it's worth noting how the Pacers pushed Los Angeles, just as they had done to Jordan's mighty Bulls. One of the Lakers' victories in that series went to overtime, and in the Lakers' 12 playoff series during their early aughts three-peat, Indiana was one of only 3 teams, and the only finals opponent to win 2 games against LA.
Which is impressive. There's no one on the Pacers that can possibly guard prime Shaq. This was such a lopsided series, just like the Philly series against the Lakers. No one, and no disrespect to Dikembe Mutombo, you're a monster, man. You're a cookie monster. But there's no one who could possibly guard Shaq at that time.
Along with Sacramento and Portland. The 2000 finals run was the end of another era in Miller's Pacers tenure. Following through on a promise he made to coach no more than 3 seasons, Bird stepped down and was replaced by fellow Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas. Smits retired, Jackson left for Toronto, and Dale Davis was traded to Portland in the deal that landed Indiana Jermaine O'Neal. That move would help fuel the next great team of the Miller era, but there were growing pains to get through.
Oh boy.
The new-look Pacers faded in the 2000-2001 season, finishing as a 41-win 8 seed before a quick first-round playoff exit at the hands of Iverson's Sixers. Indiana actually opened that series with a stunning upset, though, thanks to what had by then become an annual rite of spring in the NBA, a memorable Reggie Miller playoff moment.
They've watched their Sixers blow an 18-point second-half lead. Don't waste time here, Jalen Rose. Out in front, Reggie for 3. Miller, a three.
Classic.
Gives the Pacers the lead with 2.9 remaining.
With O'Neal breaking out and Rose taking on more of the offensive responsibilities, Miller was relegated to 3rd leading scorer for a 42-win Pacers team that once again finished 8th in 2001-2002. Yet, once again, the playoffs were Miller time. After averaging 16.5 points during the regular season, a 36-year-old Miller averaged a team-high 23.6 points on 63%.
Look at that production. He's going back into his prime in the playoffs. 42% threes. Basically 23 points. He's like 2 under where his prime numbers are. 2 percentage points lower on a free throw. Big whoop-de-doo. Still shooting 50%. Yeah, man. Reggie was no joke.
True shooting during a first-round series against the top-seeded Nets, pushing the eventual Eastern Conference champions to a do-or-die Game 5. He then single-handedly pushed that deciding game to double overtime.
Kevin brings it up, throws it across, Miller for 3. Oh, he backed it in! He backed it in! And the game is tied. We're going to overtime.
There you go, classic.
No fouls to give. Miller gets past Kittles. Miller inside.
Damn, two-hand jam in the lane.
Reggie Miller ties it with 3.1 remaining. He drove it to the rim, and he got
Kerry Kittles.
Exactly what
blew by him.
With the defensive-minded and volatile Ron Artest.
We're about to get to the Malice of the Palace, aren't we? I forgot about that. Man, they had a real opportunity to win a championship that year, too. That's one thing they don't talk about. That year, that wasn't just about a brawl and suspensions. That was about Reggie Miller's last potential title run.
Replacing Rose, and Rick Carlisle replacing Thomas on the sidelines. The Pacers took on a new identity as a hard-nosed squad. By the time Indiana exploded for a franchise record 61 wins in 2003-2004, Miller was a 10 points per game player with the lowest usage of his career. Still, he started 80 games for the league's top seed as a 38-year-old.
That's a man.
And the Pacers pushed the eventual champion Pistons to 6 games in the East Final. Indiana then entered the final season of Miller's career with the team's best chance to win a championship. But the 2004-2005 Pacers were derailed by the events of the infamous Malice at the Palace. The brawl in Detroit, which spilled into the stands, resulted in lengthy suspensions for Indiana's top 3 players, with Artest's season-long ban all but ending the team's title hopes. Miller played some inspiring ball for his undermanned club, averaging nearly 20 points per game during one stretch in December and 21 points during another 10-game run in March, a month after he had announced, through his sister, that he would be retiring at the conclusion of the season. One of the most touching moments of that season saw even Madison Square Garden, led by old nemesis Spike Lee, embrace the legendary Knicks killer. The 6th-seeded Pacers eventually fell to the rival Pistons in the second round of the 2005 playoffs.
Real quick, the Knicks crowd is one of the most aggressive, volatile crowds you can ever face. However, if you earn their respect, they will let you know when it's time. You know, Michael Jordan can show up at Madison Square Garden right now, and the whole crowd's going to give him a standing ovation. Well, when he played, they booed his ass. But when it was when the word was that Jordan was going to retire in '98 because the team was going to blow up, After Jordan lit him up one last time wearing his Jordan 1s, the whole crowd just stood up and applauded him. They respect good competition, and that's what it is. And I think New York gets a bad rap, but this is what sports is. This is what sports is supposed to be. You come into our home, we're gonna make shit as difficult as possible for you to win. That's what the crowd's job is. But when they see somebody who's just, no matter what, they're excelling like Reggie Miller did, yeah, they will give you a standing ovation because you've earned it. You've earned their respect.
One of the most touching moments of that season saw even Madison Square Garden, led by old nemesis Spike Lee, embrace the legendary Knicks killer. The 6th-seeded Pacers eventually fell to the rival Pistons in the second round of the 2005 playoffs. Miller, by then 39 years old with 1,533 games under his belt, posted 27 points on 11 of 16 shooting in the final game of his career. When he checked out for the last time, he was met by a standing ovation not only from the Indiana faithful, but by the Pistons too.
Nice.
Larry takes a 20 just to let
nice. Good job, Larry.
So cool. Yes,
good job, Larry.
Brown, who coached Reggie. Larry is so human. He understands if you let play resume, the crowd is back into it, the game winds up, and Larry calls a timeout so he can bring his team to the other side of the court and join in this.
Speaking of Reggie, Rick Hamilton learned a lot off of Reggie too. He just stuck it more in the mid-range game. Yeah, this is so cool.
The emotion in the crowd that night might have seemed over the top to those outside the Hoosier State.
Yeah, no, I watched this one live. I had a little tear in my eye too, saying goodbye to Reggie, because I knew this was it. And he never got that damn ring. I wanted him to win that ring so bad.
But Miller had endeared himself to Pacers fans in ways few athletes have ever connected to a fan base. Though he never led the Pacers to the promised land, Miller was the Pacers for the better part of 2 decades. Yep. Only 5 players have ever played more games for one team, and only 7 players in NBA history have appeared in more playoff games without a championship ring to show.
Didn't win a ring because of Jordan. Didn't win a ring because of Jordan. Didn't win a ring because of Jordan. This is no disrespect. These guys are legends. And these guys, they got to do it. No Jordan in your era. Man.
For it. Plenty of champions and fellow Hall of Famers have retired without even a fraction of Miller's postseason memories or heroics, though. To give you an idea of how beloved Miller was in Indianapolis, O'Neal once checked himself out of a 2005 game while only 3 points shy of the Pacers' single-game scoring record so that the honor would still belong to Reggie.
Wow.
A couple years after his retirement, it appeared possible Miller might finally don another team's colors, but he decided against an invitation from the 2007-2008 Celtics, who went on to win the title.
Holy crap, what? Did you guys know about this? Because I never knew about this. The big 3 Celtics asked him with Ray Allen? So it would have been him, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG, and the mix?
From the 2007-2008 Celtics, who went on to win the title.
Wow.
Even without that ring, there was simply nothing left for Miller to prove, as he embarked on a broadcasting career with TNT that has lasted even longer than his playing career did. A broadcasting career that began, by the way, with Reggie in the shadow of TNT's sideline reporter, Cheryl Miller. How fitting.
Is that not a loving look, by the way, from his sister Cheryl? That's a loving look. I love these two. When it comes to like a sibling relationship, these two are awesome.
TNT's sideline reporter, Cheryl Miller. How fitting.
Can you believe that? I didn't know Cheryl Miller's little brother played basketball.
The 5-time All-Star and Olympic gold medalist scored more than 28,000 NBA points between the regular season and playoffs. His 25,279 regular season points are nearly double that of Smith's, who ranks second in Pacers history. A workhorse till the end, Miller played every single game in the season 6 times, played 80-plus games 11 times, and missed 10-plus games in a season only twice in 18 years.
Attaboy.
His 13-year reign as the NBA's all-time three-point leader, which came to an end when Ray Allen leapfrogged him in 2011, is the longest such reign. Of the top 32 three-point shooters in league history as of 2024, Miller, a 1987 draftee, is the only one who debuted before 1994. As a shooter and off-ball savant, he was ahead of his time. As a clutch performer, he has few equals across the entire sports world. A Cali kid who wasn't even supposed to walk properly, who wasn't even the best baller in his own family, became the symbol of Indiana's proud basketball history, the world's most famous arena's biggest villain, and one of the 75 greatest players in NBA history.
What are you guys talking about? You're on the list.
Oh, yeah, this just happened.
Whoa!
Look at that.
I'm a little shaken right now because I wasn't expecting to be on that list. Truthfully.
Many
That's so
took
cool.
umbrage with Miller's presence on that 75th anniversary team, but not a soul in Indiana did. Ask any Pacers fan, and they'll tell you any time is Miller time. After the lifetime of memories Reggie provided them, who could blame them for feeling that way?
Yeah. Hold on. Is it over? Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what. Shooting guards, I got Michael Jordan in my starting lineup. After that, I want Kobe Bryant, but I would figure out a way to honestly put Jordan at small forward and Kobe at the 2. Reggie Miller is coming off my damn bench. I don't care. Y'all can hate me in the comments if you want. I don't care. It's really how I feel. I watched his whole career. Like Reggie Miller in the fourth quarter, I want him. I want him playing somehow, some way. I trust him with that ball. He is that guy. Oh man, this is great. This is great reminiscing about Reggie Miller. For those of you who don't know, like you should know by now. And if not, go watch some games from Reggie in his prime. It was absolute fantastic to watch him play. He played hard, he was skinny, but he was not soft whatsoever. That kid was tough. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at this. I'll see you tonight for the After Dark episode. Please leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. I love Reggie Miller, and I can already tell you now this is not going to be the last Reggie Miller video I react to. He's definitely well-earned that top 75. All right, everybody. Peace out. Subscribe to the channel if you want to check out that video tonight. And, yeah. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in a couple hours, okay? All right. Peace out.